Boatbuilding News, the podcast. Let's do it. Welcome to Boatbuilding News, the podcast, a series of engaging interviews with key individuals from within the marine industry. I'm excited. This is going to be epic. Hey, Ken, good to see you again.
Hey, nice to see you as well, Holly.
So, Ken, you're a first on the Boatbuilding News podcast because you are the first guest to return to do a second episode.
Oh, very cool. And I think I was the first one when you made the leap across the pond.
Oh my goodness, you were. You're the first American guest we had in the American series, and you're the first one out of all of the series to come back. So either you can take that two ways. Either I've run out of people to talk to, or you're just the most interesting. I don't know which way you want to take it.
So interesting.
So interesting. So firstly, how are you?
Excellent. Everything is really good. Life is good. As you know, I'm in the middle of a transition right now and moving from the Tampa area in Florida. And I just moved up to Traverse City, Michigan, which is really cool. I love it here.
So give me a bit of context. How far away is that from Florida?
1,200 miles. So I literally went from almost the furthest place south in our country to the furthest place north. I'm like this far from Canada.
Oh my gosh, just like that. And do you know what? I remember from our first conversation when I think you said you visited Tampa on holiday and you just decided to move there. Was the decision as impulsive and as quick as that this time around?
No, actually it was lengthy. It was very lengthy. As you know, I was with Intrepid Powerboats for 34 years. So for me to make that change was very difficult, and I was blessed to have a lot of interest from several different companies to go run their company and be their CEO, and amazing people, amazing groups. Most of them were in Florida, and in a lot of cases, a lot of them were in South Florida, even further south than what I was. Right. But then the Beneteau group, or Groupe Beneteau, reached out to me, and I met with Jean Guido, one of the CEOs with Beneteau, at the Miami Boat Show. Yeah. And we clicked. We had this vision that was very similar, and they're a group that wants to win, and that's what I'm all about. And they want to take these American brands that they have and take them to the next level. And then I met with Bruno, their other CEO and CFO, and he was fantastic as well. And his vision aligned with Jean Guido's, which then aligned with mine. And of all the different groups that I spoke to, I just felt this chemistry with them. And I think the other part of that too is there's a lot of companies out there that are looking to level up and to change and to improve, but you can only do so much without capital. You can build teamwork, you can put processes in place, you can do lots of different things, but you also need capital. And that's one of the things that Beneteau also brings is capital to be able to do those changes. And that's what I really wanted to make sure, that I went with a group that, though they said they want me to make change and make things better, they have to have the means to do it. Otherwise, it's for naught. And this is a great group, and I'm really excited.
Oh my goodness. So, introduce your new role. So what's your official job title? Introduce it formally.
Sure. So I'm the new CEO of Wreck Boat Holdings for Groupe Beneteau. Their factory is in Cadillac, Michigan, and it's a big facility, very, very large, tons of potential. And they have 4 iconic brands, American brands, that are Four Winds, Wellcraft, Scarab, and Glastron. And I will now oversee all aspects of those brands in North America. Wow. And they came upon the realization that they wanted, because they're a French-owned company, they wanted an American to run the American side of manufacturing. And we had the same visions and the same thoughts, and they chose me, and I was honored to be chosen.
I mean, that's not a small role, is it? Do you know what I mean? That's not a small role.
No, and I go from one brand to now 4 brands, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I've I've heard so many good things about the direction that those brands are headed. I've heard some really good things about the teams that are in place. I actually go and meet all of them next week for the first time. I've had a conversation with a few of them on the phone. I talked to Craig, the plant manager, yesterday, the one who runs the facility there. He says everybody's excited that I'm coming, and
I bet they are.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, I can't imagine they don't already know about you, though. I mean, you're quite out there. You put yourself out there. You're a big voice in the American marine industry. So, I can't imagine that they're not already, have a vision of you and what to expect, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Craig was telling me yesterday, was that, they're, because people know me and my reputation, they're excited about the possibilities ahead and where we're going to take the brands. And, it's going to be my job to make sure that we gain market share. We build the highest quality boat. We have the best customer service, which is what everybody's accustomed to with me in the past.
Yeah.
And that we take market share and we keep that factory vibrant and we keep them in full production. And the industry, everybody knows that the industry right now is slow. Yeah, it is. It's slow, and whether people want to admit it or not, it is. So if the market was this big and now the market's this big, you need that much more of the market share. And in order to do that, you have to be better than the rest. There are still people out there making those purchases, but they have options, and they have lots of options. So it's going to be up to us and my team here in Cadillac to make sure that we are the brand of choice.
And what I love about that is, a group as big as that, can bring, like you said at the beginning, the capital, but someone like you can bring the culture and then combine that with the capital, and it's something quite magical. Do you know what I mean? You need their capital, they need you and your sort of, as a cultural architect and, an innovator, and then that combined, it could be incredible, couldn't it? This is so exciting.
Yeah, it really is. And I think one of the things that separates me from other CEOs as well that in this industry is when I introduce myself to the team there next week, I'm going to be able to let them know that I'm one of them. I'm a guy that knows what it's like to go home with fiberglass dust in my clothes, and I know what it's like to get out of the shower and run your comb across your hair and it stops because there's gel coat or resin in your hair, or 5,200 at your elbow when you're out in your Sunday's best. And so I understand what they do every day because I used to do it back in the day, and I'm looking forward to being able to get to know everybody and become part of that family.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Actually, this reminds me of the conversation we first had when we first met, and it's like leading from the front, isn't it? You're somebody that I remember you telling me a story about. Andy, who taught you how to use a broom.
Yeah.
I remember Andy teaching you how to use a broom. It was like, it's a push broom, not a pull broom.
Yeah.
And you've done this from the, so their challenge, you can relate to them, they can relate to you. And that is in leadership, that is so different. I mean, it's a bit like, in my recruitment business, if I get on the phone and I speak to the clients and my team see me do that, there's a different version of respect than me saying to them, get on the phone and speak to the clients and not doing it myself, So it is that, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, I won't be asking anybody there to do anything I haven't done myself. Yeah. And I think, bringing that knowledge and that experience of knowing what we can and can't do and what's possible, and being somebody who's been really strong and innovating in our industry and bringing many firsts to the marine industry, I look forward to being able to bring that same innovation to this new group. And from what I understand, they have a great group to do it with. So I think together we're going to really make some magic.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because I remember also, we spoke a lot about innovation and new ideas and making them a reality. So are you looking at this new company and thinking, how can I change things up? How can I make things better? Are you going in there looking to make an instant impact, or is there going to be like a period of observation of what's already going on? What's your strategy?
Yeah. First thing is to be able to learn how they do what they do, because there's going to be lots of things that they're doing right, and I don't know that they're doing anything wrong. And I think what it's going to be is, what can we do better? Yeah. And the things that I'm looking forward to being able to show. And in some cases, I think I'm going to learn from them as well. They're going to have certain aspects of manufacturing that I think they might be able to be doing better than I would have done. So it's going to be learning on both sides.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool at this stage of your career to go somewhere and think, I'm going to learn too. Do you know what I mean? You're not just going to go and do the teaching.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, life is about learning every day.
Yeah.
I know that I, as a person, can improve on myself constantly, and I think that's really important. And because I'm going to ask that of them as well, so it's a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely. So what one, I mean, this might be quite a big question, but what one lesson are you going to take from your time at Intrepid to your new role? I mean, if there is just one, I mean, I'm sure there might be a few, but which one sticks in your mind?
There's definitely a lot of different lessons. I think that the biggest thing is being able to be understanding and having an open door policy and making sure that we're all part of the same family. It's we spend more time with each other than we do with our own families. And one of the things that was very dear to me at Intrepid Powerboats is that's the culture that I built, is one of family, and that we all have each other's backs and we all support each other and we all make sure we take care of each other. And when you have that, you can really make magic. And what's coupled with that is doing the same thing with the customer base.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you take care of them. You got to have the best customer service. You have to pick up that phone on Sunday. I'm one of the CEOs that my customers from the last brand I was with are accustomed to be able to pick up the phone and call and talk to me even. And that's one of the things that they used to say all the time is, I just can't believe that I called the CEO of Intrepid and you answered the phone and you talked to me. And it's like, yeah, well, that's how it should be. And this shouldn't be any different at this new set of brands either. And I look forward to building that team atmosphere with them and creating something really special.
Yeah, I mean, you say that's how it should be, but that's the thing, though, isn't it? That is how it should be, but that's not how it is. Do you know what I mean? With anyone else like that, usually CEOs, especially of, in big roles like you are, they're usually so far removed from anything. Sometimes not even sitting in the same country, not even having eyes on what's going on their own shop floor. So actually, although it should be like that, that is also quite a unique experience, and probably why you have created that sort of family feel, I guess, and returning customers.
Yeah. And I think what's important too is, that's one of the main reasons why, when we were talking, I was talking to the Groupe Beneteau people that I said, yeah, I'll relocate, and I think that was one of the concerns is, does somebody really from Florida want to go up to Michigan? And I told them that I am a boots on the ground manager. I think you have to be there. I think you have to be part of that team, and you have to be there every morning and every day. And that's just how I've always run things. And it's brought me tons of success. And why would I change that?
Well, no, exactly. That's the Ken Clinton way, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in there, you go down on the floor, you talk to your boat builders, you're filming every day. I see some of your videos and it's still dark. So I'm like, what time of the morning has this guy got to his, you're the first one there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just one of the things I've always done is I like being there before everybody gets there. I'm able to analyze how the day finished. I'm able to then set up the day ahead and be able to ask the proper questions of the managers. I like the managers to be there a little bit before the rest of the craftspeople get there, so that way we can all plan the goals together at the same time. So that way, when everybody gets there, we can muster and we can give direction on what the goals are for the day, and then go after those goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the US boating market right now, I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, it's tough across the world, but in the US, what opportunities out there are in the US market? What do you foresee in the short term? What opportunities?
Well, I think there's some really good opportunities. I think the economy has been troublesome, and all the discussions on tariffs and where that's going to go. I think in the near future, I think that's going to be remedied. I think it's in process now, and I think we're at bottom, and I think the best part about being at bottom is the only way to go is up from here, and I really think that's the case. People want what's new. I love bringing new product to market. Groupe Beneteau has a plan ahead to come out with so many different brands and invest that capital. So, it allows us to bring all this new product to market, and that's what people want. They want something fresh, something new, and they want quality, and they want customer service, and those are the things that we're going to be able to bring them.
So American boaters, then you're saying they want new ideas, new designs, and the quality. Is there a shift in sort of size or style that you've noticed? What are in the here and now? What are the American boaters wanting?
Yeah, I think right now what they're wanting is They want to be able to have boats that are very ambidextrous. I think they want to be able to fish on the boat. They want to cruise on the boat. They want to hang out at the sandbar on the boat. Because I think the average user has really expanded. I don't know that there's a lot of people that only fish or they only cruise.
Right.
They do a little bit of everything, and that's really what my forte was. My customer base at the brand that I was with was someone that did a little of all of that. Everything from diving to fishing to sitting at the sandbar or going to the restaurant in their boat. That's what they want, and I think that's really the progression that we're seeing. And I think the other part that we're seeing in the industry is the technology behind it. I think, I've worked with a company for the last couple of years called Avacus. Avacus is all about autonomous boating. And they came to me years ago and they showed me this technology that they use in large cargo ships. And they said, do you think that if we bring this to the recreational market, there's value to it? And I said, absolutely, because what it does is it takes away the fear of boating for people that never boated before. It's not like when you grow up in a car or a bus. You go to school in a bus, and you go to the grocery store with your mom and dad in a car. And so you're very accustomed to a car when it comes time for you to drive. In a boat, it's very foreign. It's very foreign. It's very scary. It's very intimidating. And what they've come up with the technology that they have is autonomous boating. And it's similar to like what Tesla does. And that technology, which I've personally used in one of their boats as a demo, is amazing. Like literally, it can make AI decisions. It can bring you to the dock space that you want. It can back you in if you want and sit you 6 inches off the dock and hold position while you tie your lines. And what that does is that's going to take the intimidation away from people and bring them into boating. And more people are going to be in boating than ever before. And I look forward to being able to continue that work with companies like that to be able to bring more people into such a wonderful activity like boating, where they can build, all these wonderful memories with their families for the future.
Yeah, I mean, let's strip it all back. That's what it's about, isn't it? Like getting more people out there on the water. But I think you're absolutely right that there is a fear. So I think that there's people that come from generations of boating families. Do you know what I mean? Your dad boats, your granddad. You grew up. There are people like that, and it's natural for them to go to then live life by the water, on the water, and they're comfortable in a boat. Now, if I speak from personal experience, I live right on the water, right on the River Hamble. It's glorious. I did not grow up on a boat. My parents didn't. My grandparents didn't. I'm the first generation of people that, I've taken it to the extreme. I'm obsessed with boats. But I'm that's alien to my family. So for me, that was a real barrier for me, because I was like, I wouldn't know how to handle a boat. I wouldn't know the rules of the water. Do you know what I mean? So actually, if you've got something that can take that away, we're lowering these barriers to entry, right?
Yeah, it takes the edge off. I'll always promote boating safety and learning how to run the boat, because look, if the system fails and it's not working, you need to know how to boat. But to be able to have that confidence of knowing that you have that assistant captain, if you will, to help you do these things, it makes that transition so much easier. And once they get comfortable with the boat, they'll never get out of boating, because there's nothing better than being out on the water.
Oh my God. There's never a sentence anyone has said that I agree with more. There is nothing better than being out on the water, and so, if the more people out boating, so if you lower the intimidation of it, you lower the cost of getting out on the water is coming down. I mean, obviously, you can still buy the luxury vessels and things like that, but you can get out on the water at a far lower cost than I think people realize sometimes. Lower education level, getting out on the water and knowing what to do, all of those things are just going to get more people out there, and it becomes less exclusive.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's what's important, is being able to open something up that's so amazing like boating to more people. But we as manufacturers need to help that transition happen. And that's what I look forward to doing.
Yeah. Okay. So I know it's sort of this is probably going to be the dullest question, and the question that everyone asks on every podcast, but that drive to sustainability, coupled with technology, where do you see that going? What's new on the market? Are Americans looking for sustainable boating options, or is that just something we think they are?
No, they are to a certain extent, and I think that will continue to grow over time, and I think the acceptance to that will continue as well. But I think still the mainstream is just traditional, traditional mainstream boating and manufacturing, but I think it's a slow process, at least here in the United States.
Yeah, because I can remember coming out to Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. I mean, I don't know, maybe it doesn't stick in my mind so much, but there wasn't an obvious, electric boating theme to it. It was big outboards, like way bigger than we see in the UK, bigger, better, faster, definitely not more sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel in the UK, a lot of the new boats we see tend to be sustainable options or have a sustainable theme running through them. And it didn't feel like that. But then this was a year ago, and I know a lot can change, but it does feel that, will that be strategy be part of your new role or?
Yes, absolutely. And I think as the automotive industry continues to improve battery storage capacity, that opens the door for marine. They have so much more money behind them in the research and to be able to next level that. And I think we're going to be right on their coattails with that because customers want to be able to go to the Bahamas or go to the Turks and Caicos, and they're going to want to make those kind of travels or spend the entire day out there running. Not, I can only run for 3 hours, or I can only run for 4 hours, and I think what that does is it gives you anxiety. It gives you that anxiety of watching it and wondering what your power level is and can I get back but I continue to see that improve, and I see down the road eventually 100%. I think that's going to be a big deal, and we're going to want to be on the forefront of that. We're being a group that wants to be innovative and lead in the industry. That will definitely be part of the strategy going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? People are anxious. I mean, if you take it to the cars, I mean, I've got a Tesla, but it was only probably a couple of years ago where there was an anxiety of, but there's no range on it, and where do you charge it and everything like that. It's different now. You get in the Tesla, and you've got a 300-mile range. I never travel more than that in one go anyway. And you need to charge it. It will tell you where to charge it. So the anxiety level of it is non-existent. But I think the infrastructure and everything like that, is still to come a little bit in boating. It's a bit behind, right?
Yeah, 100%. But with the success of automotive, it opens the eyes to manufacturers like us that know that is the future going forward. And we don't want to be playing catch up. We want to be leaders. So that is something that will happen with us going forward.
Okay. So if you look at people trying to enter the marine industry now, young professionals looking to enter the boat building world, whether that's designers, whether that's craftsmen, what do you think they need to be prepared for? What are you telling them? What bit of advice would you give them?
I think for anybody to start off hands-on is huge. I think there's a lot of people that, even when I had engineers come to me or interns, I would put them on the floor. I'd put them on the floor. I'd have them work alongside the craftspeople because I think it's important that the learning side from going to class and books and theory is a must, but you have to have an understanding of how it goes together. And, there'd be times where you would sit with an engineering group and I would look at something and I'd say, does that refrigerator even fit through the companionway door to install it? And they would all look at each other and they go, well, you'll put the refrigerator in before you deck the boat. I go, okay, so now if the refrigerator fails, I have to cut the boat apart to take the refrigerator out. And that comes from an understanding of what it takes to build a boat, to be able to think in 3D visually, to be able to know what it takes to install things. So I think that ground up experience is huge. And if you're a crafts person, your success in this industry is huge. The opportunities are so vast. There's room for growth like never before because there's lots of people in this next generation that do not have an interest in working with their hands. So if you have mechanical inclination and you have that want to be able to have that accomplishment of building things, the sky is the limit. And I think having that bright future is fantastic. Like for me, when I started 35 years ago in this industry, I was surrounded by amazing craftspeople. it was really hard to shine because everybody was so good. And now with that shrinking, the opportunity for people to step into this industry and really make a difference is huge.
It
So
really is, yeah.
come on in, the water's warm.
Oh, come on in, the water's warm. I love it. Ken, how hard do you work?
I don't know. Look, I work hard, but it's not work when you love what you do.
Yeah. Oh
And
my God. Yeah.
when you love the things that you do, you love the customers that you work with, you love the dealers, you love the craftspeople and the engineering and the admin team. And that's what I look forward to doing here with Groupe Beneteau and Rec Boat Holdings is being able to build that family again, and to be a part of their family that already exists, and to earn their trust and change the industry again.
Change the industry again. So, I mean, you had a little bit of time out. I mean, a couple of months maybe at least, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Did you enjoy it? Was it frustrating?
Horrible. It was really horrible. It was like, I'm somebody that is usually at work at 5:30, and you just can't turn that off.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
And so, I would get up and just be raring to go. And my poor girlfriend, Becca, like I've driven her crazy.
Because just raring to go, but nowhere to go.
Yeah. And she's like, "What? Will you just relax?" And I'm like,
"No, you can't. No,
can't." She's been fantastic. She's been with me throughout all this, and but yeah, I love to have purpose. I love to have direction. I love to be productive, and I'm looking forward to getting back to that.
I relate to that so much. So it's not quite the same, and it's on a smaller scale. But maybe my problem is even more than yours. But we had, I mean, I don't know. Do you have this? Do you have this in the US? Do you have a long Easter weekend, Good Friday through Easter Monday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So by the time I got to Easter Monday, I'd only done 3 days instead of the normal 2-day weekend.
Sure.
I worked.
Yeah.
Like, do I just have no social life? Maybe, I don't know, but I had to, because I was getting frustrated with myself. What am I achieving? What do I achieve? What have I achieved? I can't handle it.
Well, and everybody said, "Why don't you just retire?" And I'm like,
wow.
I could never retire. There's no way I could retire. Like, if I my way, I'm never going to retire. What am I going to do?
Ken, I'm going to let you into a little secret. I was going to ask you that question, but then I got scared, because I thought, what if you think that I think you are like old and past it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Well, but people relate to that because I've been in the industry for 35 years. So they just figure, why don't you just retire? And it's like, I'm so far from retirement that I'm excited about getting back to it next week.
Groupe Beneteau would be very pleased with that statement. I'm so far from retirement.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that we, not quite retirement, but when you get to the end of your career, what does legacy mean to you?
I just love, even if my career ended today, I love being able to walk through a boat show, and I love to be able to see the things that I was a part of first that are on so many other boats out there. But when I look and I see dive doors, and I see head compartments inside center consoles, and I see gyro stabilizers and all these outboard boats that never were there before, and bow thrusters that were never there before, and I could go on and on about all the things that I was personally a part of that were marine industry first. It makes me feel like I made a difference, and I did it by assembling, and it wasn't just myself, it was assembling an amazing group of people around me and listening to my customer base, listening to what their needs were, what things they really wanted in their life to make their life better, boating better. And you put your pride in your back pocket and your ego in your back pocket, and you say, okay, let's serve our customer. And we have so far, and I look forward to doing it for another 20 years.
Another 20 years? Wow.
At least.
So, am I right in saying you haven't had your official first day yet? Have you?
No, I'll be there Tuesday.
Okay. I mean, are there first day nerves? Do you get first day nerves? Is that a thing?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, I'm the new kid on the block. It's like I'm going in there, I don't know anybody, and but the Groupe Beneteau has been fantastic. They're actually bringing people over from France. They're bringing people up from all locations in the United States. I'm going to be having dinner with the sales team on Tuesday. So they've really gone out of their way to make me feel very welcome. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. They've made this process very easy on me, and it's been great.
Take donuts with you. Soft.
You're right.
Doesn't matter who you are, always take donuts.
Right.
Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. I'm super excited for you. And as soon as I saw I think a lot of people were starting to think, I wonder where Ken's going. It became a bit of a question. Where's Ken going? No one knew. I enjoyed how you enjoyed that a little bit. A few little teasers of moving and.
Well, I'll tell you that if you saw how many DM messages that I had throughout the last few months, can you tell me yet where you're going and where are you going? And we want to know where we're going to buy our next boat. And we're waiting for you to tell us where you're going. And it's been crazy. And in Groupe Beneteau, full respect with them and their employees, they asked me, they said, look, please don't say anything. We want to make sure that we tell our group, and we have meetings with all our people, and everybody understands. We don't want them to hear it from you, and we know that they all follow you. So, we asked that you allow us to do that. And that was good business on their side. They wanted to talk to their people first, which I respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but until that time came, people were really just... And everybody would say, look, I promise I won't tell anybody. Would you just tell me where you're going to go?
Oh, okay, I'd have told the world. I'd have recorded our conversation. Well, I'm recording it.
So I'm happy that part's behind me.
Yeah.
So.
But I also absolutely loved your breaking news video. It was very football transfer window. It was like Sky News.
Yeah, right, for sure.
I know. But I loved it so much because when I took on my role, my latest new role, I announced it with a video as well. I mean, who did I think I was? Yeah,
right. There you go. And people are paying attention. I'm blessed to have a bunch of people that think what I have to say has value. So what better way to communicate,
Absolutely. So just to finish it off, what's the favorite boat that you haven't built?
Oh man, that's a hard question.
It would be easy if I said one that you'd built, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to be, just the ultimate hybrid. I think it's going to be something somewhere in the 40-foot range. And I think it's going to be something that when everybody sees it in, say, a year and a half from now, because it takes a while to come to those, to get through that engineering process and to get through the tooling process and actually get to production, I think everybody will see all of our DNA in that new product.
Oh my God, exciting! And what's the first show that you're going to be representing Groupe Beneteau at?
I'm not sure yet. We're going to be talking about that next week, and I'm going to be going to France middle of May, and then from France I'm going to go to Poland, and then I'll be back. So I'm going to be gone for like a week and a half, traveling in Europe for meetings and whatnot, and then I'll be back at it here in Cadillac.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. So as you know, because you're a returning guest, I normally ask the question, what quote do you strive to live by? Yours is still one of my favorites. I think last time you said, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to do a different question now. Unless you've got another quote, I'm going to have to do a different question. Finish this sentence. You ready?
Sure.
My life in 2025 is...
outstanding and full of challenges that I can't wait to take on.
Oh my God, I love it. It was as positive as I expected from you, Ken. Oh my God. I always feel so motivated and inspired after a conversation with you. You make me smile, and I think that's probably, the Ken Clinton magic that you will bring to, your next role, I think, in your next company.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Holly. Thank you.
Awesome. I will catch up with you soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, then it would be awesome if you could leave a rating or a review. Don't forget to subscribe so you can listen to us again. See you soon.